Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Trying to make sure I've got the camera good to go. I think I'm good. How's everybody doing today on this wonderful Friday? It is super windy here, but luckily it's not awful weather. It's just windy. So today we are doing another episode of Pink Sheep and Friends. I have decided to start doing these every Friday, as long as I have people who want to join and come on and have a chat. And today it worked out perfect because in 2 weeks I'm going to be speaking at the Crochet Business Summit, which is a free online event put on by Pam Grice of the Crochetprenuer. So she has been willing to come on today and chat with me a little bit about not just the Crochet Business Summit, but we're going to just chat about her journey as a maker and a business owner, and a little about the background behind what she does. So I'm super excited to have her on. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your Friday. I've got my coffee. I believe that Pam is here, so let me see if we can bring her in. And if you guys have any questions too, please put them in the question box down in the bottom. So in the part where you can put comments, right next to that, there is a little box that looks like a speech bubble, and you can type your questions in there if you have questions for Pam. Get her on here. I'll give it a second. Let's see. Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you this morning?
Oh,
Afternoon.
I'm good. I know it's afternoon for you, morning for me still.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm working on all the things.
I'm realizing that my phone is just a teeny bit off center, and that will drive me crazy. So let me see if I can get that fixed. There we go. Okay, I think that's better. It's hard to get it like just right, straight up and down.
No,
So
it is.
I do what I can.
I have mine on a tripod, so I'm like messing with each of the little legs to get it just right.
Yep, and that's what I think I got to tell you. I'm using like this monitor arm for a computer, and it actually works really well because I can, move it all around, but I have to use, it's like what would go on the top of a tripod, like and you have the little dials and you can move it around, but that's on top of the arm. So sometimes it's like, okay, I think this is right, but as soon as I put the phone on, it like weighs it down a little bit.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Lots of fun.
I might sneeze. Sorry.
No worries. I think it was the first time I had ever, bless you.
Oof,
I think I sneezed in a mask for the first time ever. Like, it was just like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, this is an awful experience.
Right. They said more and more people are like taking their mask off to sneeze and then putting it back on. And I'm like, that is not okay.
Yeah, probably not the best move. Yeah, I think we should just deal with sneezing in the mask. But, I had never had that happen. And I was like, oh, okay. I can't believe that in the past, 2 years of wearing masks out that I had never sneezed in a mask. Eye-opening. So, well, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that this worked out.
Yes, me too.
It's like I said, it's one of those things where I was going to do interviews like once a month, but I've enjoyed them so much that I've just started saying, okay, if people are available, and then it just worked out because we've got the business summit coming up and you were free. So I was like, this is amazing. This was meant to be.
It sure was. I love that that you're enjoying these times with folks. It's just so fun to get to like actually talk face to face with people, get to know their personality and connect. It's just so much better than being behind a keyboard.
Yes, and you realize, I think what's really interesting to me is you realize how many people have not put themselves out there on video, or like even if they've done reels, they may not have actually come on and just talked as themselves. And a lot of people will either, I think it's just a great way for other people to kind of get to know these people behind the scenes if they're not comfortable putting themselves out there alone on their feed. But it also, a lot of them have said, okay, this was actually not that bad. I think I might try going live myself. So if I
Awesome.
can help in that way, it's amazing.
I love it. That's so good. Yeah, that's really great. It's like a friend taking you by the hand and walking you
Yes.
through something that feels really scary. And then you
Hmm.
realize it's not so scary. Great. I love
Not
to
at
hear
all.
that.
So these live, so we definitely need to chat about the summit towards the end, but I
Sure.
really want to talk about you. So and this is something I'm
Okay.
excited to learn some new things about Pam that I may not know. So if you want to, I know most of the people who are here, we have we've got a lot of people today. We've got like 33
Yeah.
people on right now.
Hi, folks.
Um, and so I would love if you just want to kind of do a quick introduction of yourself, and then we can jump into some of just like the background of your journey to get to where you are now.
Great. Okay. Hi. So my name is Pam Grice. My business is Crochetprenuer. I am the founder of the Crochetprenuer Business Academy and the Crochet Business Summit. I am a crochet business coach to makers, designers, service providers, anybody who serves the crochet, no, not serves the crochet community, whoever has a business in the crochet community.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here to help you create a business that you love and that makes you the money that you're looking to make. So that's my goal.
Nice. So when did you learn to crochet, and how has that journey been for you from crocheting? I know you for a while you had a specifically crochet selling products
Mm-hmm.
business, and then that has transitioned into you really don't. I know you still crochet, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not for it obviously looks very different now.
Right. It really, really does. It sometimes it's months before I pick up a skein of yarn. It's just crazy.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I learned to crochet when I was about 10. My grandmother and my mom both crocheted, and I wanted to learn as well, but I was one of those kids who was like, don't teach me anything, I'll figure it out myself. And so I grabbed one of some leisure arts, pamphlets and looked at the
Hmm.
pictures and learned how to crochet. And mostly I made animals for the kids I was babysitting. So I'd put them down to bed and make them a little stuffed animal, and they would have
Oh,
it when they woke up in the morning. And so that was really fun.
yeah.
And so I just continued crocheting all through high school and college. And when my son was born, of course, he got all of the things.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's just been something I've loved for a really long time. So it's been over 40 years, almost
Yeah.
50 years that I've been crocheting. Um, yeah. And then, do you want me to tell you how I started selling?
Yeah.
Okay, so I started selling physical products in 2013. I had just recently gotten married. My husband is a food vendor, so he travels around a lot or he did anyway. Travel around a lot on the weekends.
Hmm.
And I was like, I just want to come along. So he's like, yeah, you should bring your crochet. Or you should.
Yeah.
At that time, I had 3 Etsy shops. So I had an art shop where I did paintings of animals in heaven, which
Hmm.
it's a really good niche if someone wants to take it over. Um, I made jewelry out of shrinky dinks, and that was really fun, out of vintage graphics.
Hmm.
And then I had my crochet business. And so I originally just started bringing my art and turning my art into pendants and things, and having that. And then he was like, you have so much crochet, you should bring that too. So I just had a
Yeah.
booth kind of filled with all kinds of things. And I did this one show, and there was this girl who sold crochet, and she was rocking it. Like there was a line at her booth all day long. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that girl is amazing. Well, when she was leaving, this is my origin story. When she was leaving, I was struggling with my booth, and I hadn't made very much of anything because I didn't know how to do a craft fair at that point. And she laughed at me, and I was like, oh, okay, I will crush you. That's what we're
Oh.
gonna do. so, so
Oh.
yeah, so that's I'm super competitive, and so I was like, okay, next year the line will be at my booth.
Yeah.
And so it was, and just because that's like super motivating to me. Like, if you're going to be mean to me, then all right, it's on. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's not a great way to start a business, but that's when I like was head down, got serious, and was like, how do you do this and how do you do it well so you can make an actual business out of it? So I started doing really well with my Etsy shop and at craft fairs. I was making, my craft fairs would basically sell out before the show was over. Like I would sell out of inventory, and that was really amazing and exhausting.
Yeah.
Then eventually I had a product that went viral, and that just kind of changed everything. It changed my enjoyment of my business because it became exhausting. As you can imagine, when you just get an influx of customers, your customer service kind of energy is then, you know, multiplied by 100 or whatever. And I just got really tired. And at the same time, I was a psychotherapist, so I had a private practice.
Oh,
and
wow. So you had a lot happening at this point.
It was a lot. And I was having a really hard time managing my clients while also figuring out all of the stuff that was going on in my business because I had so many orders to fill. And I was finding myself really preoccupied with the crochet. And I was like, this is not fair to my customers. I'm making enough money with crochet that I can pay myself what I was making as a therapist. So I'm going to, you know, retired from my therapy practice. And I was like, but I just love people and I just love helping people. And that I feel is it gives my life meaning and purpose. And if I don't have that, I'm not going to enjoy what I do. So I was asking myself, like, how do I do both? How do I serve people and have my crochet business, but have them together somehow so that, you know, I'm not giving less to one part of that. So then I decided to become a business coach for crochet business owners to help other people. You know, a lot of times we get so stuck in the mindset stuff. We get stuck with our lack of self-confidence or the stories we bring into our business that, you know, that psychotherapy piece kind of plays a big role in what I do with my clients now in growing their crochet business, along with all of the how-to and all of that stuff. So that's where I came from.
Yeah. And how long was this? So what was kind of the timeline like for you from starting to sell products to deciding to make that change to pretty much fully transitioning to not selling? And I know you sold some things online, or you continued to sell a few things for a while. But what did that transition look like, and what was that timeline?
Sure. Okay, so I started selling physical products in 2013. Fairly quickly, like within 6 months, I started designing because I thought, you know, the somewhat passive, not fully passive strategy of selling patterns and designs would be helpful in my business. And so I added that. 2016 is when I went viral. 2017 is when I was like, I don't want to make any more hats. So that's when I started my Crochetprenuer blog. I started that in March of 2017. And it was 2018 that I began my Crochetprenuer Business Academy. And then by 2020, I was 100% just totally focused on the Academy, except for keeping my design business and my product-based business alive so that I still had my foot in the business because I didn't want to lose touch with what's actually going on for the people that are in the business. So, but I stopped doing craft fairs, and I don't know if that's going to be forever. But, you know, with COVID, I was like, good. I mean, as far as it was kind of a relief that I wasn't going to have to do craft fairs.
Made the decision easy, I'm sure.
It did. But last year, I had so many people coming to me saying, it's too late to start a crochet business, a product-based crochet business. You'll never get found online. It's too hard to grow an Etsy shop. And I was like, all right. So I was like, that's a challenge. So now I just have to take that challenge, and now I have to start another crochet business. So I just started a business blind, as far as I didn't tell anybody it was me. I didn't I didn't tell my family and friends to come buy from my shop. I just created a shop, created a brand, started marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 3 months that I had that shop open, I made $6,000. And I'm like,
gosh,
the process works. You just have to
Yeah.
work the process. And so for me, it was just like to prove to people it can be done.
It's an experiment. You're
Right.
doing a science experiment. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like, let's try and see, because it had been a long time since I started my shop. So in reality, it's not too late. You can still do it. You just have to have the wisdom, which is, why you learn from people who have been there.
Yes. And so the way that you started the business, did you follow your own principles? So you pretty much said like, okay, this is what I'm teaching people. I'm going to pretend like I'm one of my own clients and start my shop, and I'm going to follow all these principles and see what happens.
Exactly. Yep.
That's super smart.
So
So I would love for you to share for anyone who's listening, because this is really where we're going with this, is getting to the point that, people should totally sign up for the Crochet Business Summit that's coming up, but talking a little bit about what you really teach in your Crochet Business Academy, and how that dives deeper than, like, say, your blog posts or your YouTube videos, because you have a lot of free information out there for people that they can check out on your YouTube channel and get from some of these free resources that you have. But what's that deeper dive, and what does that look like for people who are wondering, like, okay, what is this really going to do for me?
Sure. So, the best part of the Academy is the way it strategically walks you through each of the steps to get you where you want to go. So you're not jumping over foundational principles of building a business, which is what most people do. If you look at the way the Academy is set up in like 3 phases, with each phase has 3 modules. People usually start in phase 2, module 4. They totally skip over the very important foundations of growing a business that's going to actually make you money. So in the Academy, we walk you through really taking a look at, who am I? How do I operate? Who do I want to work with? What do I like to make that person's going to want to buy? And really diving into your own mindset or your own belief systems and the way that you operate, so that you can build a business that is a natural fit and a natural flow for you, so that when you start selling, you're actually loving your business and you're loving the people you're going to work with. And so you want to work with them, you want to sell to them, and you're not going to end up one of those people on Facebook who hates their customers and is constantly complaining about them.
Yeah.
So, and that's important. You really want to love your people and serve them and bring them value, so that they enjoy your business and they want to come back to you. You see it in your business. That people are like, I just love your reels and I loved connecting to you and I love your designs. And so they come back over and over and over again because you're speaking their language. And so we talk about those things. And then we go on to building the business pieces of it. And then we talk about scaling. So many people will build a business and they don't know how to get it as big as they want it to be, or they don't know how to manage their time inside of their business. And so we talk about all of those details in a very strategic way. Whereas if you just go to my blog or you go to my YouTube, you'll find bits and pieces, and you could attempt to put them together if you want to do that. But you're not going to get that kind of deep level or the strategic bits that you get when you're inside of the program.
And what does it look like one-on-one? Do you have things that are special to people who are in the Business Academy, that, like, special lives or mentoring type situations? What does that look like? Or is it just kind of a structured class kind of thing? Right.
So we have 2 levels of the program itself. So we have the self-study program, which is just basically like, I want to lone wolf it. I don't care about community. I don't care about coaching. Like, just give me the information and I'm going to take it and do what I want to do with it. And then there's the people who say, I know I'm going to have questions. I really want to be part of a community. I really want more coaching. And that's our VIP program. And so the VIP program has a private Facebook group. We have Zoom calls every week.
Okay.
Yeah, we do a lot of fun things. So there's a lot of connection. There's a lot of coaching, and, you know, a lot of opportunity to get immediate feedback from people who are kind of at that same, they may be in a different place in their business, but they're in the same kind of motivation level as where you are. Whereas when you're in a random Facebook group, you don't know who's answering you, how, what they've learned, who they've learned from, or if they even know what they're talking about. Whereas when you're in the Academy community, I feel like you can have a little more confidence that the people you're getting information from are kind of at the same place and the same kind of mindset that you are.
Yeah.
And if they're not, I come in and say like, hey, that's not right. So.
And that's important. You are active in the community. It's not like, here's a private Facebook group for you guys, go talk about what you learned. Like, you're actually able to be active in the space and create those relationships for yourself. And that's actually what I was going to ask. What has your business, and even businesses, so like as you've transitioned over the years, what has that meant for you with creating relationships for you, you know, for yourself? Like, what has this business done for you personally, aside from allowing you to do a lot of things financially that you have wanted to do?
Yeah, for sure. So when I first started, I really was like, I have no idea what I'm doing or who these people are or who I don't know. It was very weird to be a newcomer in the community because there are cliques within the community. There are, you know, people who know each other, who have been around for a long time, closed cells, it seems. I don't like that. I've never liked that. I've been the one who's been like a part of every single clique that's out there, like throughout high school and everything, because I always feel like an outsider, and I don't like people to feel like that. So I've tried to create within my own community a very inclusive space where people can feel seen and heard, no matter if there's other people in there who seem like they're in a different group, or they're, oh my gosh, they're popular, or they're big. Everyone is connected, and I love seeing that, and I love being connected to those same people as well. The brand new people who don't know what they're doing and just need an arm around their shoulder to say like, this is this and this is this, and we'll do it together, or, you know, tag me so I can reshare your thing so you don't feel so alone out there. That's been amazing. And the friendships that I have made are just incredible. I just love it. It's really been such a positive experience.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I just did, I tried doing a YouTube video, and it's so funny because it was one of those where I was like, oh, I have all these notes. This YouTube video is going to be great. I'm on track. And like, I just blabbered through the whole thing. Like, I went off on tangents and but I think it's because, so the focus of the video was crochet, confidence, and like self-esteem and body positivity. So it was very emotional topics. And I think that's why I would trail off, because I would go off on a story about when I was growing up, or, you know, issues I've dealt with my own confidence levels and things like that. And I kind of turned it into, for a couple of days, turned it into kind of a theme of what I was sharing about. And I did a story asking people how crochet has influenced their own like confidence levels. And the answers were amazing. It's mind-blowing the different ways that just being a part of the crochet community has improved people's confidence. And I feel like that's something that you touch on a lot with not just the Business Academy, but when you do the summit, when you do your kind of mini events that you've had in the past. And I'd love for you to kind of talk about that. How does that affect people's ability to start and run a successful business in this community?
You know, I feel like this is a piece that I feel like is missing from so many programs. People will tell you how to start a Facebook page, and how to write a crochet pattern, and how to have a YouTube channel, or whatever it is that you want to do in your business. But nobody tells you how to believe in yourself, or how to be brave, how to have the courage to turn the camera on and get in front of it, how to handle it when the people around you don't get it, when they don't take your business seriously. And it's so, so important to me that women in particular, because I think our society just naturally, this is what happens with women, is that they're minimized, especially in the realm of creativity. Creativity is not as accepted or celebrated as, you know, you become a doctor or a lawyer or a psychotherapist, right? So I think that we come in with an automatic, many of us come in with an automatic less than or not enough space, and to start a business from that space is really hard because you're almost self-sabotaging when that happens, because you're not going to take the steps, sorry about that, you're not going to take the steps you need to take in order to create a actual profitable growing business, because you're going to be so fearful and you're going to play small because you don't want people to see you, you don't want people to judge you, you don't want people, you know, people from back home to make fun of you. Who does she think she is, making reels on Instagram, you know, whatever. And so it's really important for me to build people up and to say, like, we are all in this, like, let's all be ridiculous together. Who cares? Because we're all on each other's side. And when someone else can share their confidence in you, it's easier for you to then step out in that, or at least to know that people are cheering for you. It's easier to get out in front and do the things you need to do to grow the business you want to grow. So that's really kind of a passion of mine, is for people to really believe in themselves and be empowered to create a life that they love and a life that is life-giving for them, that's joyful for them. And even though running a business can be hard, there are hard moments, still, if I want people to feel proud of themselves, like, look at this skill that I have. And when you come into the community and, you know, it's Whip Wednesday and people are sharing their things and other people are saying that's amazing, I want people to like grasp onto that feeling of what it feels like when people are saying that's amazing, and you're like, yes, it is, you know. And not only is that amazing, I'm amazing, look how amazing I am. Like, do that just so that you can come out in front of the camera with your shoulders up and your head high and believe in yourself. So
I think that's another part of it, is a lot of people have said that being a part of the crochet community, so once they really kind of find their place, find some friends, find some relationships, they feel more proud of their work because they feel comfortable enough to share it. And then when you do have that supportive kind of audience, the people that you're following and that are following you, and you have this kind of back and forth, you can build each other up. And I think that is important. Like you said, when we come into the space unsure of ourselves, especially if it's new, like there are so many people who just started crocheting because of COVID.
Right.
And it's turned into a passion. But it's tough. I mean, I think it's like anything, when you come into something later than other people, you're like, this person has been crocheting, and you can't assume it, but I think a lot of us do. Like, we assume, okay, this person's probably been crocheting since they were, you know, a little kid, and here I am just learning to crochet in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, like just now picking up a crochet hook, but realizing how big of a part of my life it's going to be and how much I enjoy it. And I don't think anyone should feel like they have to hold that joy in, because like you're proud of it. Like it doesn't even matter if you might have made your first cardigan and it's like the wonkiest cardigan in the world, but you finished it. And like, that's something to be proud of, because there's a lot of people who won't even take on a project like that. Right. You know? So
and
I agree.
I love the idea of celebrating even when it's not perfect.
Yes.
Because perfectionism keeps people small. Perfectionism keeps people not going where they want to go. And if you finish a project and it's not perfect, but you learned new stitches, you learned about grading, you learned, you know, about gauge swatches, whatever, that is really worthy of celebration. And, you know, to overlook the, like, I'm still learning that bit, you know, I'm still learning tension, and maybe I, you know, didn't block my sweater and it's really wonky. Who cares? Yeah. Like, I did it, you know, and the next one's going to be even better and even better and even better. Celebrating along the way, I think, is really, really important.
And I think that's a big part of confidence building in general. I think when you give up too quickly and you don't have that ability to like overcome and see that you learned something, Because once you can do that, it's very confidence building, because you know that the next time it's going to be better, because you know that you learned something. So you're not afraid to fail. You're able to pick yourself back up. And I think, for you, it's teaching people to take that feeling from their crocheting and turning it into a feeling they can have for their business. Is that?
Yeah, definitely. And so often we have to, and this is the hard part, is we have to have it in life as well. So if you get that confidence from your crochet, like translate that into, I have value, I have worth, I have skills, I've learned something, just for your life. And then that extends into your business. Because it's that I'm not good enough that just is going to just keep people not going where they want to go. So yeah, I really agree with you that, take the little wins and let's grow those. Let's make them bigger. I love the idea of tracking wins. Like,
yeah,
I'm a really visual person. So, I always used to tell my clients, like, I did a lot of art therapy. So I said, get yourself a canvas, and every time there's the smallest win, like I didn't strangle my kids today. Awesome. Okay. Let's celebrate that. I'm kidding. I would never. Yeah. I mean, that's a good one, but I'm not saying there should ever be a day that you do strangle your kids. I'm just, but anyway, like, make a dot on that canvas, make a dot on the canvas, make a dot on the canvas, different areas of your life, pick a different color, make a dot on the canvas, so that when you're feeling like I'm crap at everything, I never do anything right, I have to be perfect all the time, you can look at that and say, like, look at all of the things that I have done right. Look at all of the ways that I've progressed and succeeded. And so, there's different ways you can do that. You can make a temperature blanket for your business successes. Like, I'm going to make a square every time I make a sale. I'm going to make a square and I'm going to add it to this blanket, and that's going to feel really good, or whatever it is that boosts you along the way. And I'm also a huge advocate of affirmations as well, because speaking positively to yourself, especially out loud, it just changes the way that your brain is formed, and it changes the way that you think. So I really encourage people to do that as well.
Yeah, I was definitely one of, like, growing up when I was a kid, I was awful at, like, the negative self-talk. I would walk into the bathroom and say awful things to myself in the mirror, to try to, like, make myself be better, and I know that if I was doing that as a kid, people are doing that now. Luckily I don't do that anymore. But I know that sometimes you can't shake that off as easily. And I still catch myself doing it in my head, and then you have to, like, shut that down and say, no, we're not doing this.
Right. It's all discipline and skills and making the decision of, I want to become better. I want to become better tomorrow than I am today. And how do I do that? I make decisions not to sabotage myself with negative self-talk. And so what can I do instead? Well, I can do conscientious, intentional, positive self-talk, even if I don't believe it right now, because that's part of doing affirmations, is you don't have to believe it. You just have to say it. Because eventually even the structures of your brain are going to change just by saying it. Even if you don't believe it right now, your brain will start believing it for you. So
that's important.
So you just make the choice. It's all about choices.
So I think it's interesting because we talk about confidence, and it's something that we have to, help build other people up and build each other up. I know right now, if you go to your Instagram feed, you are doing all the reels, and you look very comfortable on your live, and you do a lot of lives for, I know even last year at the summit, you had a ton of different opportunities to go live and talk to people. And you would think, like, oh, this is easy for Pam. Like, she's got this. You're telling me to be confident. So I would love for you to kind of share, especially how you have overcome. Because if I remember correctly, Reels is a new thing. That wasn't something that you were super comfortable with immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do not like being on camera. It's a huge, I mean, it's a massive issue for me. Like, I hate my hair. Every day I hate my hair. I always say, like, I'm just going to shave it off. And now I missed my last hair appointment. So now my hair's super long. It's just crazy. Anyway, and I'm 57 years old. Like, our community is getting younger and younger. And there's a lot of like influencer looking people in our community. And I think, like me, a lot of people come into the community and they're like, I do not fit in. So I will not go on camera. And, you know, a few months ago, I had the opportunity to get some coaching from Jasmine Starr, who is a social media coach. And she was like, you have to do it. She's like, I'm not going to give you a hug. I'm not going to tell you it's okay. I'm going to tell you you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You have to do it. And who cares? People might be mean to you, but you have to do it anyway. And I was like, yeah, I know. So, and again, it's a choice, right? Like, I know for my business, I have to be out there. I'm a coach. People have to get to know me. Do they trust me? Do they want to learn from me? So I have to be out there. But it's not easy. What's that?
Has it made a difference for your business, putting yourself out there?
Sure. So my business has been stagnant as far as growth for the last year. I was stuck at, I believe it was, I think it was 16,600 followers for a year.
Wow.
After doing reels, I'm now at like 20,400 followers.
Yeah.
So, and that's just been in a matter of months. So, it really is about, and I'm bad at strategy. I'm bad at consistency. I don't like making reels. And they're not hard. I just don't like it because I'm like, oh no, I got to put on makeup because I still have that. Like, you at least have to look professional. Like, I still am just wearing a t-shirt and whatever, living in a camper, but you still have to look like you at least tried, I think. Oh, that's the rule I've set for myself anyway. Other people can set other rules for themselves. But it has made a huge difference in being able to reach more people. And that's my goal, right? Like, I want to help people. You can't help people if you don't reach them. And it's the same thing with anybody who's a product seller. You can't serve your customers and you can't sell to your customers things that they need if you don't get those things in front of them. And so, same with designers. So just do it. But it's not easy. But if I can do it, and I'm trying to come up with, and this is going to happen soon, I'm trying to come up with some more interesting ways of making that happen that feels good for me. And we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so I try and always think of like, how can I make this easier on me so that I want to do it? And so that's just about creativity and just getting out there.
Yeah, and I feel you 100% on that because reels have gotten easier for me, but I'm still in very much in a trial and error phase of like what kind of reels do I want to make, and what kind of reels are not going to make me want to throw my phone out the window because they take me too long to make or I just don't enjoy it anymore. I have seen a difference as well. But then there are still moments where I'm like, do I really want to put this out there? And I have been. There has not been a time where I hold on to a video and don't put it out there, but I still get nervous. I'm like, are people going to think this is stupid? Are people going to not take me seriously? You know, and I try not to be too serious. But yeah, I understand that a lot when it comes to trying to figure out, it all comes down to what's right for your business. You need to make reels. If you're trying to push a business and you know you're trying to grow on Instagram and that's what Instagram wants you to do, you know you have to make them.
Right.
It's just what's going to work for you, what makes you not hate the process as much even, you know?
Yep. So, yeah. And for me, a lot of that has been like, I'm just going to do a face to camera reel because that's what I'm comfortable with. Like, I'm comfortable sharing information. I'm not comfortable, and this is just me, I'm not comfortable in an entertainment role. So, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I'll see or I'll hear an audio and be like, oh, that's cute. That would be really
Yes.
easy. I'll just do it.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I'm not going to do one that's going to take me a really long time. It has no, for me, return on investment of
Yes.
time, when I could just be speaking information that the people who want to hear that information will hear it when they get to my video.
Yeah.
So yeah, and my audience too is people who want information. So they may be on Instagram for other things, for entertainment, but they might get some information in the process, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it really depends on how you operate your business, who your people are, why they're on Instagram in the first place, and what your goals are.
Yeah.
And then checking the analytics to see what's working.
That's a big one too. I mean, that's usually if anyone asks me social media advice, the first thing I'm like is, are you still on a personal account? I mean, that's because I mean, if you don't have the analytics, you don't know if anything you're doing is making a difference.
Right.
So that's, yeah. So right now, what would you say your favorite part of your business is for you?
My favorite part is connecting with people on a much deeper level. So there are, especially in my VIP program, I get to know people really well because we meet, and if they show up to our live videos, we meet weekly. And so you get to know people. And sometimes you get to know what's going on in their personal lives as well, because that impacts your business. So they might say, you know, like, my mom is sick and I need to take care of her. And, you know, how do I manage my business around that? Well, now I know that this is going on in your life. And it helps to create that connection and helps me to know how I can help you better. So that is just amazing. And so this year I've brought in a new piece of the VIP program, which is called Guided Masterminds. And it's kind of even a deeper level. And it's basically just a group of 6 people. And we meet on a weekly basis. And we've met in person. We had a retreat here in Colorado and they all came out.
I saw photos. I was wondering if that was just VIP or if that was something special, because I was like, oh, that looks so awesome.
Yeah, so the mastermind group is only open to VIP people. And it's very, you know, you have to apply for it. We have to be able to arrange schedules. People have to be on the same place in where their business trajectory, able to give back to one another. So it's very collaborative. And that has just been amazing to meet people in person, which is then like, okay, now I need to like have a much bigger event where I can invite all of the CBA people who want to come and hang out and learn. And so like a summit, but in person, I think is the next thing on my planning list.
So is that a goal for you? Would you like to see the Business Summit turn into a conference that is an in-person conference?
Yeah, and it actually started out as an in-person conference, and then COVID happened.
Okay.
So it was going to be a CBA retreat, a business retreat, and only 30 people were. There was 30 tickets available, and so 30 people were going to come out to Colorado. I had a blogging coach coming. My tech guy was coming, and another friend of mine who's a motivational speaker, she was coming, and we were all going to teach sessions, and then the rest of the time was going to be for connection and working on things. And then COVID. So then I was like, I got to get this online fast. So we just did it online. And then that kind of is what became the summit last year. I was like, let's bring on even more people and make it available to even more people. So I think the virtual summit will still always be a thing, but I also think we'll have an in-person thing as well. Yeah. Because there's nothing beats getting together in person with people who get it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What was the feedback like? Because the summit was that was your first one last year. That was the first one I attended. And since you opened it to everyone, what was that like for you? And what did that look like? And what did it look like for your business? And how has that changed your business in any way? Like, what has that been like?
Well, it exponentially grew my business. So as far as the impact, it was incredible to see. We had 5,000 people sign up last year.
Wow.
So
I didn't even
that's
know that. That's
yeah, that's a
amazing.
lot of people. And just the impact on those people's businesses, no matter where they were, people who were just thinking about starting, people who started and weren't making money, people who had been in business for a while, but were like, I want to grow. There was something for everyone that they took away and was like, I can use this to grow my business. And so everybody walked away. And then the last day, just like we're doing this year, we had an implementation day where we said, okay, let's decide which of these things that you've learned you're going to implement in your business, and let's get it on your calendar so that you can start working on it before you forget, before you just go back to the old patterns. So we're going to do that again this year. And so the feedback I got was just amazing. People just saying like, this has changed everything. So I loved that. So it's really motivating because it's a lot of work. I start usually in February, and it's like 12-hour days for me, and then I have some helpers this year who are helping, and they're putting in a lot of time as well. So but it's so worth it when you see how many people are taking what they're learning and creating a business they love. It's just amazing. So our goal this year, well, my goal is to increase by 30% this year, and we're on track for that.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
So I'm looking at the numbers every day and just saying, you know, are we 30% over where we were last year? And so we are growing again this year. And the impact for my business personally last year was that my the people who came and joined my course and who joined VIP exploded. And so my course basically went from 300 people to 600 people. And it went from, and I added VIP last year. So we didn't have that before. So we went from no VIP to having 250 people in VIP. And so this last year has been definitely learning and growing and you know, incorporating new strategies for serving the people who do join the academy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
it's been great.
I know that you said, okay, so I'm thinking about virtual will probably always be a thing. Thinking about an in-person retreat for people who are in the business academy. But do you ever think that it'll turn in? Because I grew up. I grew up. My first kind of career was in higher education, in a couple of different ways. But we would go to these big conferences for, you know, like I was working in the Department of Recreation. So if you have been to a college or a university and they had a, you know, a fitness department that also had like an outdoor program or something, that was all, it was called NERSA. And then what was the other one? I went to another conference. Oh, it was the photography conference. So we had a photography conference, and it was like, I think they had on average 8,000 to 10,000 people that showed up every year. Obviously, it was expensive. I mean, it was, you know, probably $200 or $300 to go, but you had your speakers and you had an expo and all of that stuff. Do you feel like that's like big goal dream, or you would rather keep it smaller and online, or would you ever think that would be amazing? I could do that one day.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I would love that. Yeah, that would be, you know, one of those goals where like I need to get people who know what they're doing to help manage that. Like right now it's me and my team of 3. And so, and we've never done anything like that. And so I think starting small and then working up to something like that.
Because you see that it's growing. You see that there's interest and opportunity. Yeah.
You know, and like, I feel like my business is definitely an example of the benefit of niching down, because there are plenty of people who are out there coaching generic start a handmade business
Small
things.
business. Yes.
And then people who say, well, if I niche down too much, I won't have the customers. I'm like, it's just not so. Because there are enough customers for everyone. There's enough customers for all of us. And yeah, So any of you who are afraid of niching down and think you need to sell everything to everyone, I really want to say, like, my business, the way that I run my business, all of my businesses that I have right now, they're all very niche. They're all reaching for a specific target customer. And it's the same way with my coaching. Like, I'm talking to, like, I'll talk to other fiber artists, but I'm speaking to crochet business owners. And I want them to know that I'm here for them and I'm on their side. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have about 10 minutes left.
Okay.
So I would love to talk a little bit more about the summit that's coming up, and really, for anyone that's listening, who this is for, and what this could do for you wherever you are in your journey with crochet.
Sure. Okay, so the summit is a 5-day free virtual event. We're going to have 24 presentations. Each presentation will be about 25, 30 minutes long in total. We're trying to get you as much information as possible, actionable strategies, proven strategies that you can use in your business that won't also bore you to death. Because we know that your attention span is 17 minutes. That's what science says. And we also know that you have a business to run. So, we're trying to make it so that you can look at the presentations that are coming up and you can say, I want to go to this one, I want to go to this one, I want to go to this one. You can come, you can get a dose of really great information. You can pop into our Facebook group and chat with the speakers live and get your questions answered. And then you can still work on your business in the process. So, and okay, sorry, I got distracted.
No, you're good.
So we have that. So we have the 24 presentations. We have the live Q&As. We have on Friday, we're going to do implementation day. We're going to do some co-working where we basically just turn on our cameras and we work together. We're going to do networking where we break out into small groups and you can make some friends.
That. What was the last thing that what was the last event that you did? It was like a mini event.
It was the Crochet CEO Challenge.
Yes, and the networking was awesome. Where we did the little Zoom rooms. That was fantastic. Yeah,
that's everybody's favorite. Yep. So I was like, we need to incorporate more of those this year. Yeah, and then I'm going to have another course. I'm going to open the doors to CBA at the end of the week. We have all kinds of prizes. So I was at Interweave Yarn Fest 2 weeks ago. And I met with a bunch of people and told them we're having this event, and they were like, here, take some things to give away. So I have like luscious things like this. Ooh, and amazing, some really great prizes. So we're going to have bingo every day, which is based on basically everybody gets a bingo card and you go to a presentation, you get to mark something off. You go to a Q&A, you get to mark something off. And everybody gets to submit their card at the end of the day, whoever gets bingo, and you'll get entered for a prize. So that's awesome. That's really fun as well.
And when does this all kick off?
So it kicks off on May 15th. We have a kickoff call, which is basically me telling you how you're going to get the most out of the presentations. We're going to have prizes that day too, kind of just a get excited party. And then presentations start May 16th. And they go through the 19th. And then on the 20th, we have implementation day. Okay. So mark your calendars, because I would really love for you to join us. There's a lot of different topics. There's going to be topics about scaling your business or making your business more profitable. Also topics on self-care and how to continue your love of crochet while you're turning that into a business. And some kind of relationship advice as well. We have counselors, we have a functional medicine practitioner, we're going to talk about becoming a VA, we're going to talk about becoming a tech editor, all kinds of things. So there will be something for everyone to walk away with.
And I think that was my point, is even if maybe you're like super new to crocheting, you just kind of picked it up, but it's kind of, maybe you've had people start asking you if they'll sell stuff, if you sell anything. I feel like that's where a lot of us start out. We're making things as gifts. We're enjoying the craft, but then we get the question, the all important question, like, wait, would you sell me one of those? How much do you charge? You start getting these questions and it becomes like deer in headlights because it's like, this is just supposed to be fun, but like maybe I can make a little money. And it can get overwhelming really fast. And I think that's the thing is even if you're just starting out, this is worth it because the ticket in itself is free. And if you guys are already thinking in your head, okay, I'm going to sign up, I do have a link in my bio, so you can check that out anytime to sign up.
Sorry about my husband's phone.
No, you're
It's
good.
time for the purge.
But yeah, so if you guys want, you can sign up using the link in my bio, but it is for everybody. It's not people who are like, okay, I already have an Etsy shop set up, or I'm already selling things. Like it's any level that you're at. Like this could still be a hobby for you, but there's things that you could take away from this that are, gonna give you that confidence of like when you do start, if you start getting those questions, like how could I maybe turn this into, even if you never want to be a crochet business owner full time, even if you just want it to be part time, what are some of the things you could do to allow yourself to not let that part time burn you out, and then you don't, and then you lose that enjoyment that you've had, because I think that can happen quicker than people realize.
I totally agree, and so it's for beginning business owners, and you're going to make friends in the process, which I think is so valuable for people who are new and people who are just starting. Like inside the Facebook group, you're going to make friends. And if that's all you walk away with, friends and motivation, you've already won. Please join us. We would love to have you. And then if you've been around for a long time, and you're just like, I'm not quite making the income I want, like I don't know what's going to take me to the next step, there's information there for you too. So it's not based on your niche, it's not based on how new or how experienced you are, and it's not based on whether you're a product seller, a designer, or a tech editor, any of that. So it's just, if you are in a crochet business, you are welcome to come. We would love to have you.
And I think that's the one thing I think and I try to talk about this a little bit. I was on the fence of going full time when the first summit happened. And even if I don't say the summit made me go full time, because I was already thinking about it, I know very specifically that my website is now monetized because of the Crochet Business Summit. So like there is something that you'll take away, there's some takeaway that you'll get. There is some, even if it's one or two videos that really speak to you and you get something from it, there's something there. I mean, the speakers are fantastic. I'm so happy to be a speaker to say that I'm fantastic, but there are so many great people that are coming on talking about all different things. And I do have someone in the comments asking why I'm not answering questions. And I'm sorry, guys, usually on these with the interview style, it's we have so many things to talk about. I don't get to answer as many questions. But you can always send me a message. If you guys had a question for me on here, shoot me a message. I am more than happy to answer. But these are a little tougher because we have so many things we want to talk about. But yes, we are at the end of the chat. But just so you guys know, I post these to Instagram. So if you just joined and you're late joining in and you want to hear the whole conversation, you will be able to rewatch it here on Instagram. Or if you prefer, I also post them to YouTube. So if YouTube is your place and that's easier for you, you can catch up on that. It'll usually take me anywhere from 1 to 2 hours to get it fully uploaded and ready, but then it will be there forever and you guys can catch up anytime that is convenient for you. And I think that's everything for now. So I'm just so grateful for you joining, Pam. I appreciate your time and all the effort you're putting into this because it's amazing. And keep me posted if you start thinking about these potential in-person things, because I think there is so much potential there. I think there are so many people that would continue to benefit from the opportunity to continue making connections.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It would just be so exciting. I think it would be hard for me to be the planner of that because I would just want to be doing all of the things and talking to all the people. So
right.
I'm an introvert, but those kind of events just pull it out of me. Like I just want to talk to all the people and just share the excitement. Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah.
Okay. How to find buyers in international markets. Get on Etsy.
Yes, tough questions, tough questions. And
Yeah.
that's why, so join the Business Summit, join the Facebook group, because you will have the opportunity to ask a lot more questions too, specifically about business. And that'll give you more of those specific answers. So definitely check it out. There's a link in my bio. And what's the main website as well? Isn't it
CrochetBusinessSummit.com.
super, super simple. So check it out. Join us. We're both going to be there, obviously. And yeah, until next time, I hope you guys have a great weekend and that it's beautiful weather, because it's really windy here, but at least it's blue sky. So
thank you, Evelyn. It was great talking to you.
Bye, guys. Thank you, Pam.